Welcome
Welcome
to your morning
to
cup.
Wake Up with iBenz Academy.
I'm Ash,
I'm Kara.
and we're Cash.
Hi.
We really gotta work out that like saying things at the same time on Zoom. We like it like mutes us, you know?
Yes, and a bit of a lag delay as well. So, yeah.
Yes. So we have a little bit of a different structure here today. And reason being is that I'm not at home. I'm up in Canada.
Hey, how's the great North?
It's great. Um,
Excellent.
it was overcast and kind of rainy for the start of the week, but now we've got a sunny day, which is really nice. And
Ah,
yeah,
nice.
it's good.
That's super good. So, since you are traveling, we thought this would be a good topic to look at today of how can we ensure we set ourselves up for success to travel in high frequency.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of tips and tools that we've learned over the years, sometimes the easy way, sometimes the hard way. So we
Yes.
thought we'd share all the things we've picked up, and hopefully you guys can share with us too what works for you when you travel.
Yes. So first and foremost for me, and I think everybody kind of has a different like value with money and they and how they like look at money and spend money. But for me, booking a very comfortable flight schedule is really important. If you're,
Mhm.
or even if you're driving, setting yourself up for success with that schedule. And so I will pay extra to a certain degree to have like a direct flight or like a flight that departs and arrives at reasonable hour so that I'm not like totally off base in every way to start. Because I found if I start a trip when I've arrived, like sleep deprived or physically just like not feeling good because like everything got thrown off. I mean, aside, mind you, there's going to be like international travel, like to another continent. That might be a whole different story and some things you can't change. But for the most part, go for comfort. That's what I would say. It's first part.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like if I have to take an early flight to arrive early, let's say for a work trip, like 9 a.m. start time or 10 a.m. start time, I'm not doing a red eye. I am like either traveling to the airport and staying overnight or arrive the next or the day before and then have like a really good night's sleep and then arrive fresh. Like I have to have good sleep. Otherwise, it's just it's just a bad precedent. Set
Yes,
ourselves up for success.
totally agreed. Totally agreed. So I think that's a really good other segue to having to have good sleep.
Mhm.
Right. So another thing I do is I pack, have this little bag here and it's got different like essential oils, some that are blended that I purchased, some that I created. And um, I use this or a spritzer of like lavender oil with water, and I'll spray it on my sheets and on my pillow and around the room. And that one is a good way to get ready and settled and my body comfortable to go to sleep.
It's such a good one.
Yeah. I also use I have this is show and tell because I'm traveling. So I have a an EMF mask or hoodie, I should say, not mask, it's a
Nice.
hoodie. And so you could wear this. It's really stylish Friday night. Hey. No, this is something that you wear when you're sleeping and you can like tighten it up a little bit, whatever, but it's comfortable. And to me, again, it also just kind of helps with like putting my body at ease because we live in a place that doesn't have a lot of EMF, so to be surrounded by it, and even then I have a EMF canopy at my house, so to be
Mhm.
surrounded by it really helps to make a difference, to feel more comfortable in an environment where there's EMF.
Yeah, me too. That's such an important factor when it comes to travel. I also have something similar to that. It's an EMF protection shirt. It's long sleeve and it also has a hood on it as well. So I basically wear that as like my night shirt, my sleep shirt. And it's perfect because I keep the hood up and just sleep in that and having like my like my chest covered and my head covered. It just helps so much with the like buzz of a city, which I'm not used to anymore. I used to be used to it. I'm not used to it anymore. And like you've mentioned, also having a canopy at night, hard to take a, queen or king size canopy with you when you're traveling. So take the mini versions. And oh my gosh, they help so much. The hoodies and the shirts, they just make
The
such a difference.
blankets, there's EMF
Mhm.
blankets, those help. And those are also really great to use on the plane too, because I've heard there's a lot of EMF on the plane, but I don't know enough about it, but that's what I've heard. Another thing for sleep, I always travel with oops, see if I can grab one for us. With some earplugs.
Mhm.
So just in case it's like a really noisy place or even on the plane. Alternative to that, I have a really great I don't know if you can see it, EMF, or not EMF, sorry,
Noise
sound
canceling?
noise canceling headphones. They have them
Nice.
like the big ones. They've got these ones are more earbud style, which actually I like these because I could sleep with them if I want. It's not super comfortable if you're a side sleeper, but if you sleep on your back or maybe if you sleep on your stomach, I would imagine it's more comfortable too. But that or earplugs can really help because I find when I'm in a new space, my body's more sensitive to sounds or other distractions. And if I can kind of like go into a little bit more sensory deprivation kind of mode, it just helps to settle and relax and sleep well because again, sleep is like probably one of the bigger elements to staying high frequency, at least in my experience when I travel.
Agreed. I love those noise canceling headphones. I have the big ones, and I find that they're really excellent on the plane, especially like on takeoff and landing. Sometimes there's like pressure differences that you have to be aware of, but I just have them on like the whole time, and I just feel like it's just so much more relaxing and makes such a difference. Such a good difference. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's a world of difference on the plane when you have those on your ears. It's so much nicer.
Also, when I'm on the plane, I like to carry a really good grounding stone with me. Because, like, you're traveling super fast. I don't know how fast, however fast an airplane travels, especially if you're on a really long international flight, you can like go for a long time. And sometimes I'll just like have like a really nice stone or crystal, and I'll just touch it and hold it. And it just feels so good. It just feels reassuring, like it stabilizes me somehow. I'm not quite sure how it works, but it helps. It just feels better when I'm up in the air and not so disoriented. So that's a good tip, I would say. Give it a try. See what you think.
Yeah. The other part too to mention just with the noise canceling headphones is that it also helps with psychic noise. Um,
Right, of course.
so if
Yeah.
you're on a plane, obviously you're like sardined into a plane with other people, or maybe you're on a bus. And even, being in the city, wherever it is, it can, that's why I like it at night. It's not because the noise at night, it's because the psychic noise. So,
Mhm.
that really, it's just like everything just quiets down. And when I first got here, I felt like my thoughts were like screaming in my head. I was like, whoa, the volume's really loud. Like, but it's because there's so much more psychic noise. There's a lot more people, a lot more energies of expression happening in the human collective, which is exciting and fun, but also it's can be at times like a little too much.
Yeah.
So
Especially if you're not adjusted to it, right? Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, good point about the psychic noise. It does make a big difference. So, I find that the noise canceling headphones with the wire are a lot better than Bluetooth, just because there's like less EMF. But they might be harder to find because I don't know if they're as popular these days as Bluetooth versions, but they still work. So you could
Yeah.
probably even do like earmuffs or something, and that would help. So experiment, see what works, and hopefully it makes a difference for you.
Yeah. Another thing that I always loved is I have this little spritzer bottle here, if you can sort of see it. The sticker is kind of getting rubbed off, but it's got that flower of life symbol on it. And this I actually got from a friend a couple years ago at a Christmas, or for a Christmas present. And I've just been refilling it ever since. I don't remember exactly what her blend was, what she had in here, but what I put in here is lavender essential oil and colloidal silver. And so it's one of those things where take it, spritz it, and oh my gosh, it's so nice.
It's
Get it in. And when I'm in the airport, you know, when I'm on the plane, I don't do it quite as much unless like I'm like not gonna spray my neighbors. You know, when you're in the airport or even just like right now, like just been working and doing things and being with people. It's just a nice, like, if I don't know, it just feels like it's just a really settling to my body, my energy field just like calms down and relaxes. And then a colloidal silver also has like so many healing properties too. So to me, it feels like I'm not only doing like an energetic kind of like spritz or cleanse for my my field, but in my body, but also I'm boosting my immune system or whatever you would call it, and keeping my body healthy and strong.
I love colloidal silver. It is like a must-have for every travel kit, at least for me personally. And the spritzing thing is fabulous. I also take with me like a little bottle with like a dropper in it, or a bigger one depending if I'm doing a larger suitcase. And oftentimes what I'll do with the dropper is I'll put some of the colloidal silver like on my head, actually on my scalp. And I find that it also just helps calm and almost like reset, and helps with the psychic noise too. I don't know what it is, but it just like kind of similar to the noise canceling headphones. And then there are times where if I'm in, let's say, a really saturated area, sometimes I start to get like a scratchy throat, and those are like, it feels like this flushing symptoms that are happening. I don't know what from, but I'll take that colloidal silver, I'll like gargle it, spit it out. Oh my gosh, it's so helpful. So
It
helpful.
really is, yeah.
Game
If you
changer.
keep
And
using it, it really can make such a difference. And we are not like medical professionals to say.
no, no, we're not.
You're only merely speaking of our experience with it. We're not recommending it to treat something. But truth it, test it out. You can read lots about it if you look it up online too. Because for me, if I use it when I'm feeling something come on, I use it like every hour, and exactly how you described, it really makes a difference.
There's also another, I don't know if it's a tonic, but there's a couple of products that are like either apple cider vinegar or like a really big dose of like turmeric and ginger and lemonade, and they kind of come in like, yes, that's it. Oh my gosh, I love that you have it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally. You
those
gave me that recommendation before I left. It made me think of it. So when I was at the airport, they had a bunch of these. Goodness,
are
can't see it all, but so they had a bunch of these little shots of this one's an elderberry, ginger, and turmeric blend. And I bought like 5 of them or something like that and just put them in my travel bag. I got to my destination and just put them in the fridge. So I had one while I was at the airport. I got one when I landed, and then I just have been having them throughout the week. And I actually saw more at a grocery store, and I got more. But it's nice because they're small, and when I take it, it's like first I get like this like one boost of little energy, but then 2, it does make me feel strong. It makes me again also feel like I'm supporting my body and staying healthy. And that also of course is going to help me stay high frequency and keeping me in a good energy and headspace.
absolutely. Yeah, all of these things are to help our bodies feel comfortable and supported and stacking our positives, right? And especially for some of us, we might have more kryptonites towards certain things over others, right? Like for me, it's sleep and EMF, but for others, it might be like you want to travel with your pillow. I know some people who like have to travel with their pillow and sleep with their pillow no matter where they are, or they bring something of comfort like I've seen some women like bring like a tiny little stuffed animal that they just like put in their purse, and it's just a comfort factor. You know, all these things to just help our body feel at ease, and maybe even an element of familiarity, and feel good and supported along the journey.
Yep. For sure. Yeah, and and even like salt baths are a great thing. I bring salt baths, and again, that's for the physical body, but it's also your energetic fields, right, as well, and can be very cleansing for like um yeah, for both elements. And bringing that and being able to like, finish your travel and soak in a salt bath, or throughout the week, soak in a salt bath is, to me, is like a total refresh, reset. It's great.
Absolutely. I love to try to have a salt bath when I'm traveling. I don't always have like a bathtub available to me, but when I do, not only do I bring my own salts and essential oils, but I have like almost like a little magic kit where I put not fresh, dried organic flowers and herbs in there with salt, with essential oil, put it in a reusable tea bag. You put that in your bathtub and it's like, oh my gosh, a spa day. It's just
Yeah.
so nice. And my body loves the feeling of like, oh, these flowers and the smells and aromas. It's just
Mhm.
so nice. And if I don't have the chance to do it while traveling, I do it when I get back. And it's like a
Mhm.
nice reset, cleanse, and nice little pampering too, There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I had the experience. I was in traveling to Arizona, and I was feeling really worn down and just like yeah, just like kind of in the overwhelmed state, and I was like, gosh, I know I need to like do something to like help my body and help my experience of being Ash to get through this, my awareness field and cleaning that up. And I got this feeling like I really want to go in the pool. I really want to go swimming, which I mean, I love being in water, but usually not so much. Chlorinated water is not like as appealing to me, but I really wanted to go in the pool. And it wasn't very hot outside or anything, but I went swimming and I felt a million times better. And I just hung out in the pool for like an hour and just floated around and just sat there. And then I found out later when I was sharing that, and I don't know enough of the details, but apparently there's some like there's salt in chlorine or something of that effect. So I don't know the details. You could look it up if you're interested, find exactly how, but apparently that's how it makes this, it has a similar effect to what salt would have. So anyway, yeah, something to check out if you're curious and understand how it works. Great, tell us. But in general though, like that was my experience, was I think the salt bath tends to work better for me, but the chlorine water was also a great alternative, which I had no idea would be, but it was, and it really was super helpful.
Cool. Yeah. And if you happen to be going somewhere where there's an ocean, swimming in
There
the
you go.
ocean is always the best alternative.
Even just walking with your bare feet on the sand, you're getting that salt exposure and you're getting the negative ionized air. So, with getting that exposure too is super great for your system.
Yeah, fresh air is important. And even if let's say don't have access to that, like the spritzer, it can go a long way. Or having your favorite essential oil. I like to use the Thieves blend, and I'll just like pick it up and just sniff it and then put it away. And even that just is like rejuvenating, energizing, and just makes my body feel really nice. It's great.
Yes, yes. So one of the other ones, which is really great to do, and we always talk about having a daily practice, but double down on it. Yeah. So really committing to your daily practice. Maybe it means you're doing more of it. Maybe you're doing more frequently, but less amount of time, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, whatever it is. But expanding our awareness really can help as we enter into a time period of that shrunken awareness.
Yeah, so much more important to make sure you're having that time for your daily practice, because that's like almost like a benchmark or consistency of like tapping into that high frequency. And change is hard on our bodies. If we're like completely uprooting ourselves and going to like a 8-hour time zone difference, and the people speak a different language, and the food's different, everything's different, like that can be a little jarring for our body. But if you have that consistent habit and you keep it up, especially when you're traveling, it'll give your body like a sense of familiarity and routine. And of course, it's always good to meditate and expand your awareness too. So yeah, a win all around.
Yeah, it's funny, when I was first coming out here, I was like really intent on coming. There was nothing going to stop me. It was great. It's like there was no hesitation on it. It was like, yep, I'm doing this. But then my physical body was kind of like, oh no, I don't want to go, and so I was like communicating with her and like, it's okay, like, or not even it's okay. It was like, what can we do to make this more comfortable for you? And it's like, I'm going to take really good care of you. We'll get those little shots that Kara told us about, the immune boosting shots. We'll get these drinks that we were talking about, right? We'll bring our essential oils. We'll bring our EMF hoodie, our noise canceling headphones, like all these things. And that was like first on my packing list, was all of the things that would make my physical body comfortable. And sticking to it too, because that's what I found in my experience is my body doesn't like the travel because the change, and just even moving through the plane with a plane, or even long distance driving and things like that. It's just, she doesn't really enjoy it in general. And then time zone changes and being around new people and new situations, all this stuff. So what tends to happen in the past, if I wasn't prepared, is I would start to get symptoms of I don't remember what the word that Tom Cowan calls it, but essentially like what we would say is getting sick, right? I'm having symptoms, I'm flushing. That's what it is. I'd have flushing symptoms, and then that would kind of like override my whole trip and like paint it as like, oh man, yes, start falling into those like maybe low frequency dynamics or experience of it. So the working with our bodies and really helping to communicate with them, and also making sure they're comfortable, and it's not a dictatorship in that. It's like really bringing them on as allies in the experience, can make a huge difference. And then all of a sudden it's like all these little things are like, kind of not working out in my travel in the beginning, and I lost my keys and this, that, and the other. And then I was like, oh, are you not happy? Like, my husband, why is this happening? Why are these challenges coming up? And I was like, she just wanted to be acknowledged. And I was like, oh yeah, I get it. Like, it's okay. Like, we've got this, and I'm gonna support you in it. And let's do this together, kind of energy and experience with it, right? So we have all of our things. We've been utilizing it. When we first landed, when I got to where I'm staying, I ordered an Instacart. So it had really good water that I ordered. I've got some lemons and honey, really good raw honey. I got, all the like little things that would make my body feel better. I've got my chaga. I didn't even show that, but I've got my chaga mushroom blend that I take on a regular basis. So all of those things, it made my body feel so much more relaxed. I could sleep well. I could just enjoy my experience and not have that be something that would take away from the experience.
Mm-hmm. Such a good point, Ash. Like making or becoming allies with our body through the journey, right? And not fighting against it, but like collaborating. And one of the things that I do to get agreement or to collaborate with my body on a trip is I go, okay, let's go to the spa.
Yeah.
So I always book a massage. And if I can, like time in the sauna so I can like sweat and just detox in a way that's comfortable for her. And also I like to go shopping. She loves to like try new things and, just comfort and activities that she really enjoys.
Right.
And other times it's like a hike, like go hiking on a trail or go see the ocean, or maybe it's even go out and see like a museum, whatever brings about like that energy of beauty and connection. I make sure to make time for that, even if it's a busy work trip and like booked, 12 hours straight, I make sure that there's still time for her to have that time of like self-care and pampering in a way that she is looking forward to and enjoying. And she's like, oh, all right, California's sounding pretty good right now, or New York's sounding pretty good right now. Let's go. As opposed to, I don't want to, big difference. So yeah, make an ally out of your body.
Yeah, that's such a great idea. I know the other day I was working late, and I was working late because, we're a few hours ahead here versus like what I would be working back home. It's different, right? So I was working late, and when I was done, I was like, I really need to move. I need to get out. But it was too late that I didn't really want to go like try and navigate my way through, an unfamiliar cityscape. But we're in a building where there's a shopping center, and so I took the elevator down, and I just walked all around and just kind of did circles, just walk, and it felt so much better to be, even though I was indoors walking, and just to be able to get myself moving and get my body moving, and just like having those little bits that you think of that you probably do at home on a regular basis anyways, but I think can be easy sometimes to take for granted when we are traveling for whatever reason we're traveling for.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, it's so important to do that. Even if it's like the middle of winter, it's freezing out, you could still find a way to like get out and walk around, whether it's indoors or even just use the right clothing to get out and get some fresh air. So
Yeah,
set yourself up for success.
exactly. Yeah,
One
and
of the
go
oh,
ahead.
one of the most useful practices I would say is following the techniques that Inelia Benz shares in that video of energy clearing your room, your hotel room. So if you are in a space where, it's obviously not your home, that video does such a good job, like showing just really practical ways where you can clear the energy so that people's stuff isn't left over while you're sleeping in the bed or whatever. And for me, it makes my body feel really good knowing like, okay, I'm saging, I'm cleansing this space. Not even literally saging, but watch the video, it'll help. And there are times where even I've tried other techniques that I found to be really helpful. Like I brought this one time, I brought this massive Tibetan singing bowl that was like this big. It took up like a third of my suitcase. But I prioritized it because for whatever reason on that trip, my body's like, you're bringing that bowl and you're using it everywhere we go. This was like on a road trip. So it was like 2 or 3 weeks of traveling. So I had my massive bowl and I would just bring it all around the room and cleanse the energies. And part of me was like, this is kind of ridiculous. It's like a third of my suitcase. But at the same time, it's just what worked for me at the time and it was great. And I'm so glad I brought it. And I've since invested in a smaller version,
Yeah.
but even then it's like you don't have to have a Tibetan singing bowl to cleanse your room. You can do other things too that are very easy and self-sufficient. But oh my gosh, that's like the first thing I do when I go into the new hotel room is cleanse the space, make it mine. And there was a tip that Inelia gave me many years ago, which is, and it helps reassure the body, at least for me. She said, this is your home for today. So no matter where you are, like it's home and you make it your home. So the things that I did to make it my home, I like took out my favorite book, put it on the nightstand. I took out a beautiful scarf or cloth and covered the TV or covered the mirror if, it was right by the bed or something. And, put out my crystals and like my laptop. And it's like, oh, yep, this is my home, and just that feeling of like, yep, home for now, home for today. Yay. It's so different than like, I'm in a hotel room and this is weird. And okay, it's just for now. It's like such a different energy. So make it your home for now. And
Mhm.
such a big difference.
Yeah, and if you can, like, spend the money to have a comfortable place to stay is worth it. Because when it's not, oh my gosh, it just like throws everything off.
Yeah.
Those are all such great points, Kara. I love it. And in the latest Driving to the Res podcast and newsletter by Inelia, it came out with the podcast is titled "Are We Successful?" And that was the name of the newsletter as well. And she asked this question as a measure of success, right? Is if I do XYZ, does it facilitate and accelerate my expansion, my expression, excuse me, and the physical expression of my highest frequency? So it's like, when you're packing, does this facilitate and accelerate my expression and physical expression on my highest frequency? It's like, if it does, bring it, and if you have to check an extra bag because you've got a bag of loot of, goodies that are going to keep you happy and high frequency, then so be it. Yeah. Right. I think that's like, it comes to me, it's like down to priorities. And so many times I've chosen, oh, well, I'll save some money if I, take that overnight red eye flight, and then I'll just like sleep on the flight and whatever. And I'll tell you what, every time I ever said I was going to sleep on the flight or the bus or the something, it didn't happen. Well, it does maybe to a degree out of sheer exhaustion, but it's not good sleep. And, it's not comfortable. And then, you end up paying for it. And it does, you pay for it in the fact that it impacts your experience negatively and other things that you do on your trip.
Yep, exactly. So set ourselves up for success. Is this going to help facilitate our high frequency expression, right? So check, look, truth it. That's why I brought that massive, Tibetan singing bowl, even though it made no practical sense, but I truthed it and bring it. I'm like, okay, I'm bringing it. So it's like that. And my gosh, it made such a difference. So every little item you do, or the flights you're booking, or where you're staying, all of that is part of enabling our success as we express our reality together. So,
and I would say, if you're listening to this and you don't have any travel planned, apply this to the rest of your life. Like, these are things we do at home regularly anyway. Like, I mean, this comes with me, like it's in my purse as a regular staple in my purse. It's just like, I'm going to the grocery store. Hey,
yeah, it's such a good point.
Go ahead.
No, it's just such a good point. It's not like you only do these things if you go on some exotic trip somewhere or spend thousands of dollars to fly halfway around the world. It's like, if you're going next door to neighbors, or if you're going to go see some family, or go to the store, or go to town for a couple hours, all of these things are ways that you can set yourself up for success, regardless of where you are.
Yep. And if your body hates your bed or your pillow, or, whatever it might be, like, start working towards investing in what would make your body comfortable. And maybe it's just a pillow topper, or maybe it's new sheets, but regardless, again, it's like, it's worth it, right? It's worth it because it does make a difference in the long run, in my opinion.
Yeah, agreed. And this is what helps us cover our bases, keeps our frequency high, stacks our positives, and the little things add up, even just like cleansing your house every once in a while in the same way that Inelia shows in that video, or having, really yummy, structured water that you take with you no matter where you go. All of these things make a big difference. So it's not just travel, it's just life.
Right.
Set yourself up for success in life.
It's so funny because you'll see where, like, people will spend so much money on their dog or their cat to have like the nicest like orthopedic bed, and they go to this like play date, like daycare, they go to, all these things that they'll do. But yet for themselves, they're like, I sleep really bad because my bed's just so uncomfortable, or that pillow, I really hate that pillow. And it's like, just get a new one or fix it.
Clothing too. Like, I see folks that will like keep wearing the same socks with holes in them, not to name names, but there's a certain, someone who has a podcast with Inelia. But even myself, I found like just the other day I was wearing some socks and I saw like these holes in the heel, and I was like, I'm not gonna have that. Threw them in the trash, even though like I loved them, but I mean, my body did not like having chafed heels when I'm wearing my boots. Like, it's not good. So,
or have that like cold spot in your foot because like the boot is cold. And yeah, I had that too, because we're ending the winter season, so all the socks are starting to like, they've been worn, all the wool socks. And I splurged and I got some really great socks that I love. They're like baby alpaca fur, and like,
I love that.
Well, they're so great. And I wear them all the time, and I'm wearing them now too and traveling with them. Like, so it's great because my body's super comfortable with it and feels really happy with it. So why not?
Right? We can even splurge on socks, and that raises our frequency, right? Like it's the
Absolutely.
littlest of things really make a big difference. So
Yeah, it's like what was this story? Like the Princess and the Pea. Do you remember that? Where the
oh
princess
yeah.
laying on the stack of all the mattresses, and there's a pea on the bottom, like tucked into one of them at the bottom, and she can feel it, and it's like uncomfortable. And it's like, why have that where you got like a little like pebble in your shoe and you're walking around and there's a little pebble in your shoe and you just leave it? It's like that's the thing is like if we are not taking care of our bodies and we neglect some part of it, like maybe not having good water or not sleeping well, or whatever it is that they enjoy, it's like we've got that like pebble or rock even sometimes in our shoe. And it's as we walk around life, we're constantly having a little bit of that distraction or a little bit of discomfort that takes us away from expressing our highest frequency.
Oh my gosh. I'm so glad you mentioned that because I unfortunately have a few pebbles in my shoes and I ignore it. Okay, so I'll give an example. This for the past like 2 weeks, maybe months, it could even be 2 years. There's like this light fixture in my bathroom that really needs to be cleaned. It like really needs to be cleaned. And I only ever see it when I'm like getting out of the shower or in the shower because like that's where it is. And I look at it, I'm like, oh, it really needs to be cleaned. And then I don't clean it and just get ready.
Right.
So that pebble has been in my field of awareness for so long, it's like embarrassing. And it's this like dissonance. It's this icky, yucky feeling that I'm consciously choosing to keep there. And it's like, Tara, just go clean it. So after this
Right.
podcast, I'm gonna go clean my light.
There
Thank
you
you, Ash,
go.
for your
Yeah,
support.
you're so welcome. Yeah, I have little things like that too that come up that it's just like, okay, well, just do it, just take care of it. But sometimes we forget, or you only see it whenever you're like in that situation, and then you forget about it the moment you walk out of the room. But it's like every time you have to, why go into that energy of like, oh, I don't like,
Oh,
right? It's like, well, let's get
exactly.
rid of that and address what's going
Right.
on. Yeah.
That's a great way to keep our energy fresh and high. And again, sets ourselves up for success. So
Yep.
no excuses. Just got to
Doesn't
do
have
it.
to be complicated. It can be super easy and enjoy the ride while we're at it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I hope you enjoy your ride back home and have a fabulous princess journey.
Yes, I will. Thank you. I'm well prepared for it.
Yes, clearly.
Yeah, but I'm glad we were able to still connect and do the podcast today over Zoom.
Yeah. Yes, likewise. And for those listening, share with us your best practices for how you have set yourself up for success, either in traveling or in your day-to-day life. Because like Ash said before, we exchange tips and tools because she'll think of something that I haven't thought of and vice versa. Like the immunity boost shots is a good example and so many other things. So if you have a practice that works really well, please let us know in the comments because we would love to see that and give it a try out for ourselves.
Agreed. All right. Until next time. Bye, everybody. Ciao.
Bye.